Once upon a time, in a cozy little classroom filled with colorful drawings and the scent of crayons, lived a small, fluffy creature named Qalbaz. Qalbaz wasn't a student. Oh no, he was the class pet, a special kind of hamster with fur as soft as a cloud and eyes that twinkled with mischief. Every morning, the children would greet him, their little fingers gently stroking his back. Qalbaz loved the attention. He loved the gentle hum of learning, the sound of laughter, and the occasional tiny piece of carrot snuck to him by a friendly hand. His life was perfect. One sunny Monday morning, the classroom door creaked open, and in walked Mrs. Davis, their teacher, with a new boy. He had curly brown hair that bounced with every step and a shy smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Class," Mrs. Davis said in her warm, cheerful voice, "this is Leo. He's just moved to our town, and he'll be joining our class. Let's all give him a big, warm welcome." The children all turned to look at Leo. A chorus of "Hi, Leo!" filled the room, but Leo just looked down at his shoes, his shoulders hunched a little. He seemed as quiet as a mouse. Mrs. Davis showed him to an empty desk right next to Qalbaz's cage. From his little home, Qalbaz watched with curious eyes. He'd seen new students before, but there was something different about Leo. He looked a bit lonely. During playtime, all the other kids rushed out to the playground. They swung on the swings, slid down the slide, and played tag on the grassy field. But Leo stayed inside. He walked over to Qalbaz's cage and peered in. His eyes, which had looked so sad before, now held a spark of interest. "Hi there," Leo whispered, his voice barely audible. He gently tapped on the glass. Qalbaz, who was usually napping at this time, scurried to the front of his cage. He wiggled his nose, a friendly greeting in hamster language. Leo smiled, a real, genuine smile this time. He rested his chin on his hands and just watched Qalbaz. He watched him run on his wheel, stuff his cheeks with seeds, and burrow into his fluffy bedding. For the entire playtime, Leo didn't leave the side of the cage. The next day was Tuesday, and it was Leo's turn to be the pet helper. This was the most important job in the classroom. It meant he was responsible for giving Qalbaz fresh food and water. As Leo carefully opened the cage door, his hands trembled a little. He measured out the perfect amount of hamster food and slowly filled the tiny bowl. Then, he took the water bottle, filled it to the brim, and made sure the little metal ball at the end was working. Qalbaz watched him intently. He could sense that Leo was being extra careful, extra gentle. When Leo was done, he reached one finger into the cage, very slowly. Can I pet you?" he asked softly. Qalbaz, feeling the boy's kindness, didn't scurry away. Instead, he nudged his little head against Leo's finger. Leo's face lit up with pure joy. It was a silent conversation, a moment of connection between a lonely boy and a furry little friend. As the week went on, a routine formed. Every morning, Leo would be the first to greet Qalbaz. Every playtime, he'd spend at least a few minutes by the cage, telling Qalbaz about his day, about the new things he was learning, and about the cartoons he watched. Qalbaz would listen, wiggling his ears and occasionally letting out a tiny squeak, as if he understood every word. One afternoon, during art class, the children were asked to draw their best friend. Kids drew pictures of each other, holding hands, playing soccer, or sharing ice cream. When Mrs. Davis walked over to Leo's desk, she saw a beautifully detailed drawing. It wasn't of another child. It was a drawing of a small, fluffy hamster with twinkling eyes, running on a wheel inside a colorful cage. It was Qalbaz. Mrs. Davis smiled. "Leo, that's a wonderful drawing of Qalbaz," she said gently. "He's your best friend." Leo nodded, his cheeks turning a little pink. "He's a really good listener," he said. The other kids heard this. A girl named Lily, who sat at the next table, leaned over. "You're really good at drawing animals, Leo. Can you show me how you made his fur look so fluffy?" Another boy, Sam, came over. "My grandpa has a hamster too," Does Qalbaz like sunflower seeds the best? Mine does. Suddenly, Leo wasn't just the quiet new kid anymore. He was the boy who was friends with Qalbaz, the boy who could draw amazing pictures. He started talking to Lily about drawing techniques and to Sam about the funny things hamsters do. A small crowd had gathered around his desk, all of them admiring his artwork and sharing their own pet stories. For the first time, Leo was surrounded by classmates who weren't just looking at him, but were talking with him. And he was talking back, his voice growing stronger and more confident with every word. From his cage, Qalbaz watched the scene. He saw Leo laughing, his shy smile replaced by a wide, happy grin. He saw the other children leaning in, listening to what Leo had to say. Qalbaz wiggled his nose and did a happy little spin on his wheel. His tiny hamster heart felt full. The next day at playtime, something amazing happened. As the bell rang, Leo didn't head straight for Qalbaz's cage. Instead, Sam ran up to him. "Hey Leo, we're playing tag. Wanna be on my team? You can be our secret weapon because you're quiet. You can sneak up on people." Leo hesitated for just a second. He glanced over at Qalbaz's cage. Qalbaz was sitting by his water bottle, watching him. It was almost as if the little hamster was nodding his encouragement. Leo smiled, a big, confident smile. "Yeah, okay," he said, and ran out to the playground with Sam. From the classroom window, Mrs. Davis watched Leo chasing his new friends, his laughter carrying on the breeze. She looked over at Qalbaz, who was now peacefully munching on a piece of carrot. She knew that sometimes a friend is all you need to feel brave, and sometimes that friend comes in a small, furry package. Leo still visited Qalbaz every day, of course. He'd still tell him all his secrets and give him extra gentle pets. Qalbaz was still his first friend, his best friend. But now, Leo had other friends too. He had friends to draw with, friends to play tag with, and friends to sit with at lunch. The little classroom was no longer just a room with desks and a teacher. It was a community, and at the heart of it all was a small, fluffy hamster named Qalbaz, who had shown everyone that friendship isn't about how big you are or how loud you can talk. It's about being a good listener, being kind, and being there for someone when they feel a little lonely. And in doing so, Qalbaz had not only helped the new kid find his place, but he had also made the entire class a little warmer, a little kinder, and a lot more like a family.